And after only a handful of the most senior royals made it onto the Buckingham Palace balcony at the Trooping of the Colour earlier this year, King Charles could be preparing to slim down the monarchy even further. That's according to the King's former butler, Grant Harold, who said in an interview this week, Charles has very carefully and dignifiedly slimmed down the monarchy to what he classifies as the core family, and that will only get smaller as, sadly, his royal cousins die off. But, Phil, let me start with you if I can. Is the King's slimmed-down monarchy a race to the bottom? After all, the royal family is supposed to be opulent.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening, Mark. I mean, we've got a sort of slimmed-down royal family by default, haven't we? We've got Prince Andrew in disgrace, we've got Harry and Meghan who've decamped to California. So Grant is absolutely right. Once the likes of the Duke of Kent sadly leave us, they are going to be short of people. And I think we've got the monarchy slimmed down to what, you know, it can't be slimmed down anymore. And Princess Anne actually gave an interview about this earlier this year in which she said that from her point of view, she thought it would have slimmed down quite enough. And I think she's right. I mean, the days of the Queen and Prince Philip having 1,500 patronages have gone. We're not going to see that anymore. We've got William and Kate and others just concentrating on a few core issues. Whether that's the right thing or not to do, I'm not so sure. But you really can't slim it down much more because we've now only got 4 people, William and Kate and Edward and Sophie, who are working royals who are under 70.
Too right, and it's asking a lot of the Prince and Princess of Wales, isn't it, Lady C? Do you think the King is guilty of penny pinching?
I think he's guilty of stupidity, if you don't mind my putting it that way, because the fact of the matter is I have been saying for over 20 years now that Charles's idea of slimming down the monarchy is unworkable. Anybody who does any charity work in this country knows that most of the work that the royals, both the senior and the junior members do, is behind the scenes. 98% of it is never reported upon. And Charles seems to be heading in the direction that only what appears in the media should be validated and everything else should be ignored. And I'm sorry, it is unworkable. We are not Denmark and we are not Sweden. I mean, Denmark is half the size, has a population half the size of London and can fit into London with maybe a little bit of leftovers. You know, we're a much bigger country and there is a real need for the royals to continue doing the unpaid charity work and supporting the ordinary people, whether it's the school teachers, the mayors, local government. You know, most of what they do is never reported upon. And it is a big mistake to think that that doesn't count. That is the backbone of royalty, because that is what makes people in this country feel that the royals are worth having. If it's about photo ops,
I completely agree. I do not want a... Lady C, I'm with you on this. I don't want a Tesco value monarchy, but it looks like we're heading that way, or Waitrose Essentials. Now, after flying to Dusseldorf to attend the Invictus Games and then jetting off to Portugal on a top-secret romantic getaway, Harry and Meghan have clocked up a whopping 19,000 air miles over just 14 days. That is despite the eco-conscious couple often lecturing the public about the need to take action to protect the environment. Phil, you couldn't make it up.
No, you couldn't make it up. I have to be honest, though, Mark. In the grand scheme of things, this is not their worst offence, I don't think. I mean, I think these were mainly scheduled flights. They were flights that were going anyway. You couldn't really criticise them going to the World Child event in London. That's a good
level with public, the great unwashed, the proletariat.
Yeah, and the Invictus Games, of course, they were a big success. So I don't think we can criticise them too much. They then went on to Portugal, and makes you wonder whether they spent time, hasn't been confirmed yet, with Princess Eugenie, who's still friends. Makes you wonder whether she's going to be used perhaps as a bit of a sort of Henry Kissinger type figure, a go-between with the royal.
Phil, do you think that this couple are going to turn the corner in terms of their branding? Do you think there are sunny uplands for them? And if so, what story could it be that would move the dial? How do they fix this PR nightmare?
Well, if I were them, if I were advising them, their PR people, I would try and get, first of all, a reconciliation with Meghan's father. I think that would be a great opportunity to be seen with Thomas Markle before that's too late. I gather they are now cooperating with the press a lot more, which they weren't doing before. They said they weren't going to cooperate with the British press, but apparently they were in Dusseldorf. So there's several things they could do, and they were getting a better press the other week. But at the moment, I think they are so unpopular in this country that there's no way back for them really here in the future, if for a long-term future. I certainly don't think Meghan will be particularly welcome, and I don't think she wants to come back here.
Well, they've even got the Americans cheesed off. What do you think about the charge of eco-hypocrisy, Lady C? They would argue that they're going to Germany. They're supporting the Invictus Games. Harry is attending charity events in the UK. They're travelling and they're flying in order to make the world a better place.
Well, of course, that's what they're going to say. And I agree with Phil that at least they had the good grace to fly commercial. But the fact of the matter is, why do they think that they can fly, whether by private plane or commercial, wherever they want and for whatever they want, but that the rabble, the hoi polloi, you and I, should actually not even go away once a year? Why should we take a plane when we can maybe go somewhere 30 miles away? Because that's been their message. And it is a rank hypocrisy, and it's also extremely elitist and snobbish. And I think that, it's not only in Britain that they're unpopular, they're very unpopular in America as well. And people seem to not understand the extent to which they are unpopular, largely because they are virtue signaling hypocrites who are publicity seeking money grubbers with nothing to recommend them except posing.
OK, well, that's you off their Christmas card list. Lady Colin Campbell and Phil Dampier will catch up next week.